It's Kate from Resin8 here. We often get asked how to sand resin castings once they've come out of the mould. As you can see with this alcohol ink casting that we've made, there is a bit of a dip here, which means it's got a rough edge, and ideally for resale we don't want that. We want to finish it so it's got a nice smooth back on it. There's a number of ways you can do it. You can sand through different grades of wet and dry paper, which we'll demonstrate today, or you could fill that back with another layer of resin, which is probably a slightly quicker way of doing it, except you do have to wait for the resin to dry. So we're going to use our Resin8 Rejuven8 collection. This is the wet and dry paper, the Resin8 Rejuven8 Scratch Remover and the polishing cloth. I've got some warm water here in a little pot so that I can make the wet and dry paper wet. By using it wet, it reduces any resin dust that you get, and it means that you can go through this procedure without having to wear a respirator. So I'm going to start with the first grade of paper, which is 180. So we're going to pop a little bit of water on to make it wet. We're going to get the side of our casting that needs sanding, and we're going to go round and round and round. You can go backwards and forwards as well, but you need to make sure you go through all the different angles, as it were. So round and round gives you a slightly better finish. It's a bit difficult to see with this colour, but once we've sanded it, it does have a matte sort of sea glass effect finish here. And again, we don't want this, we want a nice shiny finish, which is why we're going to go through the different grades. Now bear with us, this is a real-time video. I am going to show you literally how to go through every single grade. So the next one is 240. So you can already see, I don't know if you can see, but I can feel that that lip has disappeared already, and we're starting to get a smoother edge. You can also hear the difference in the paper as you go down through the different grades. The next one we're going to use is 400. Make sure that you keep your fingertips well away from the paper, otherwise you'll find that you give yourself a bit more of a manicure than you're expecting. Oops, stuck together. The next one we're going to do is 800. That's the doorbell, but we'll ignore it for now. And the next grade is 1200. It is, we must admit, slightly laborious, but this really is the only way of getting a good finish on a resin casting, unless you're going to coat it in resin. You can hear the difference, that this grit of wet and dry paper is a lot finer and smoother. So that lip has almost, well, in fact it has completely vanished. Oops. And the final one we're going to use today is 2500. This is the finest one that we sell, and for all of the things really that we make, we find it's as fine as you need to go. Okay, so that's the sanded casting. You'll notice that the lip's gone, but it does actually look quite shiny, but for the sake of showing you how to do this, we're going to show you how the Rejuven8 Scratch Remover works, just in case it comes out with a sea glass matte finish. So we've finished with our wet and dry paper. We're now going to take our polishing cloth and our Resin8 Rejuven8 Scratch Remover. Pop a little squirt of the Scratch Remover onto your polishing cloth and go through the same process again. So you want to go round and round with the casting on top of the Scratch Remover. Backwards, forwards, again making sure that you move it enough to sand the entire back. And there we go. If you can see the shine, nice shiny finished back, perfectly flat, and done with Resin8 Rejuven8 collection.